For today's video, I'm going to start us out with the first sentence of the book, which is, "The hardest thing in the world is to live only once." And the book we're talking about today is The Emperor of Gladness by Vuong. And I picked up this book because it was an Oprah book club pick. And I've been meaning to read this author for quite some time. I thought maybe this would be a good jumping off point. So it follows the story of this character, Hai, and Hai is a 19-year-old. And you come into the story, they've maybe made some not so great life decisions and are standing on a bridge looking over it. They are about to jump. And he looks over and he sees this older woman on the bank of the shore over there, and she's got her laundry and her sheet goes blowing away in the wind, and he yells something, I think, about her sheets, and then she looks over and notices him, and she's like, basically talks him down off the bridge and invites him over to her place. He comes in and, they talk, and this woman is in her 80s. She lives alone. It's in this rundown part of town where most other houses around are kind of abandoned. It's a very desolate place. Her name is Grazina, and her and Hai chat. She's this old Lithuanian lady, and she's like, you know what will help to get rid of all the sorrows in the world that burden you? I have the secret. Let's go do it. So she takes him and she grabs this bag of rolls and she takes him outside and she starts stomping on the rolls and she's like, now you do it. And he starts stomping on the rolls and the rain's coming down and surprisingly it makes them feel, just a little bit better. They keep talking and he ends up staying the night there because he at this point in time doesn't really have anywhere to go, doesn't know what he's gonna do. And as you progress in the story, you see what led him up to this point. And Gracina, 5 years ago, she'd been diagnosed with mid-stage frontal lobe dementia, and she takes a bunch of pills and stuff to kind of keep it at bay and whatnot. And she sort of tells her story a little bit to Hai, and she's like, "What is your name? Your name is Hello? I'm gonna call you Labas." Labas means hi or hello in Lithuanian, and so she calls him Labas a lot. But she asked him after, like, he ends up sleeping there. He wakes up in the morning. She makes breakfast. They eat breakfast. They have like something like potato pancakes, and she feeds him carrots because carrots are good for the soul, and they give you hope. And she has this whole little like thing about why you should eat carrots because it helps with your sorrows and this, that, and the other. And she's got a good heart. She starts talking to Hai when he gets up in the morning and is like talking about like, you can stay with me, I know I'm older, but I need someone to stay around. It'll be like a fair trade. You can stay here for free. You take care of me. She's like, I've had two nurses now who have left. The last one that was a live-in, she got married and I'm on a waiting list, so it could be another 5 years. I don't know. And like, she's just like, you think about it, you think about it. And Hai's just like, oh, I mean, he has nowhere else to go. He was at his wit's end and he was going to end it all. So he's like, yeah, I will stay here. And so he stays, and sometimes she goes in and out of her mind. And with her dementia, it's almost like she time travels and she goes back to a time when she was younger and she sees the war and where she came from. And I think she sees like the deaths of her family members and her brother. And so sometimes Hai becomes this character, this Sergeant Pepper, where he's trying to get them through this war that's going on around them to get them to different destinations. And like she sees it, like she sees the battlefield and she sees the stuff. And so he has to try to talk her back to like current reality. And he'll be like, okay, so who's the president right now, or and to get her to come back. So she's slowly slipping into this other realm inside her mind. And so you see the decline of this, which is sad, but you also see like this kindness that both of them give back to each other. And at some point, her money's starting to run out and she urges Hai to maybe try and go find a job. And I was like, okay, well, I could go talk to my cousin. He works at the home market. Home market's kind of like Boston Chicken, or did they change it to Boston Market? The chicken place, where they had all that stuff, but then with all the sides like Thanksgiving and whatnot. Anyways, he hadn't talked to his cousin in a long time because their moms had a falling out. He goes and he finds his cousin Sony. He talks to Sony and he's like, hey, I know we haven't talked because our moms had a falling out, but, and tried to like repair the rift between them. And then he finds out Sony's mom's in jail and he's trying to save up money to bail her out because she got in trouble because her nail salon, I think they tried to burn it down for the insurance or something, so she went to jail. I think that's what happened. My brain's a little foggy on the details on that, but Sony's mom's in jail. So anyway, Hai ends up meeting the manager, BJ, which is this character, Big Jean, and Big Jean wants to be a wrestler. So she does some amateur wrestling stuff on the side. The story is just, it's about kindness. It's about people lifting each other up, even in these dark places that they get into, and just trying to survive in this life and how far a little kindness can go for people. And it also shows and shines a light on addiction, whether it's with alcoholism or with pills in these small little towns. So this is in Connecticut, in just like a small little town. He gets this job there, and you meet this cast of characters that he works with. You have Maureen with her bad knees, and she drinks a little bit while on the job. And then you also have this other guy they call Russia who works the drive-through, and he's this like skinny guy with acne, and he is one of the strange cast of characters that are there as well. And you know, you have his cousin, and then there's the other guy who makes all the chickens and whatnot, and they become like this found family, and they really do end up taking care of each other in this. And then you also have the dynamic between Hai and Grisina, as you know, he gets this job so he can kind of like support them and help with food around the house and stuff. Then you meet some of Grisina's family, and you hear about her daughter who was a raging alcoholic, who she doesn't really talk to anymore. And then Bahai's not even sure that some of these people actually exist, because is it the dementia or is she like misremembering? So she starts talking about her son too, but then they do actually, it turns out, yes, there is a son. He isn't that far away. So I don't want to get too spoilery into the story, but it's sad, it's emotional, it's beautiful, it's sweet, and it just shows what can happen with the ripples that go outward when people show kindness to each other. And it was really beautifully written. The first chapter, so Ocean Vuong is also a poet. The first chapter is so poetic, like in how it's written. I had to go back and like reread it again because it was very beautiful. And then you get into the story, and it's not as crazy poetic as the first chapter, but that first chapter like really sets the scene and the vision of it, and it's very beautiful. The story too is just, you see the struggles of everyday life with people living and working at a minimum wage job. You take the small wins with what you can. It's just a beautiful and sad story, and I see why people like this author a lot. I want to check out some of the poetry. I would like to read some of that. I used to really love poetry when I was younger, but I just haven't really delved into any of that in a long time. And really liking the way this author writes, I think I would also like their poetry. So definitely want to check that out. I would highly recommend this book. It's not typically like something I normally read because I'm usually, you know, horror, fantasy. This was more of like, it's fiction, but all the things that you see are things I've seen within people that I know, myself, our family, like stuff you see that affects everyone, whether it's people falling on hard times, addiction, illness, health things, all of that. It's a really great book, and I would recommend it. Also, if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.